All right, what is up, Macomb? It is that time again, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. We were off last week, but we're right back at you from Studio 326 in Salee Hall in Macomb, Illinois. It is C4 Sports, the very best in sports talk, and I guess the Macomb kind of Western Illinois area. We'll go ahead with that, because I've heard some of the stuff they got around here. I definitely think we're better than them. I definitely make that statement. I am, of course, Matt Langman at LmanMatt93 on the Twitter sphere.
I am Adam Feiner, and you can follow me on the Tweety at NobodyFiner.
I'm Ryan Mason, and you can follow me at Mason_ILChief.
And I am Darius Hawkins. Y'all can find me on Twitter at _Hawk_13.
We've actually got a lot to talk about. Of course, the main focus of our show today will be a Final Four preview, a wrap-up of the first rounds of the NCAA tournament. We'll look back at our brackets. Since we did not have last week's show, we couldn't get any updates in the middle of all the action. So we'll go ahead and look at our brackets, preview this weekend's action. We've also got a lot of NFL stuff to talk about, some off-season signings, some controversial statements, and we've also got NBA to talk about. We got the Warriors finally turning it around, the Heat turning it around, the Pacers not turning it around, and Darius finally informed me apparently about Paul George off-the-court problems. So we got all that and more on C4 Sports. But before we get to that, we got some Western updates. Friday, April 4th, women's tennis is at Omaha, which will be played at Fort Wayne, Indiana at 8 a.m. They are also still in Fort Wayne that day. This time they play IU-PUI at 2 p.m. Men's tennis is taking on Denver right here in Macomb at 3 p.m. Softball has a doubleheader against Fort Wayne in Macomb at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. I will be at those games. I'll be working the broadcast. I need those practicum hours, so be sure to come out for that one. Saturday, April 5th, women's golf is at the Bradley Invitational in Peoria, Illinois. That's an all-day event. Men's golf is at the Bradley Invitational in Peoria, Illinois, also an all-day event. Men's soccer is taking on Wisconsin. How about that? There you go. A Big Ten school right here in Macomb, Illinois at 12 p.m. Softball is taking on Fort Wayne right here in Macomb at 12 p.m. Women's tennis is at Fort Wayne at 1 p.m. Men's soccer is taking on Lincoln College right here in Macomb at 3:30 p.m. And then Sunday, it all ends with baseball is at Omaha, Nebraska at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. for a doubleheader right there. And it's fitting that's our last game on the schedule for this weekend.
Yes.
So, Adam, go ahead and take it away as our Western Illinois baseball insider.
Yes. This last weekend, we got off to a very good start in conference. We played South Dakota State, who was the league representative of the Summit League last year in the NCAA tournament. Took 1 out of 2 from them. It was kind of weird because we had a doubleheader originally scheduled for Friday. Got the first game done. Aaron Michael pitched a gem, a one-hit shutout, complete game. And then the second game lasted so long that got suspended due to darkness. We don't have lights at the field, so picked it up on Saturday morning, ended up dropping that one. Rebounded on Sunday against a good North Dakota State team. Took 2 from them in walk-off fashion in both, so we're definitely feeling good. Coming in 3-1 in the conference now. We've put ourselves in a very good spot, and we look to keep that momentum going in Omaha this weekend.
So it sounds like things are starting to turn around for you guys after that rough start initially. What do you guys think conference play will bring for you guys? Like any improvements, any new challenges, stuff like that?
I think success. You can expect success out of this group. There were some stats running, and our coach updated us on it, that we played the 43rd best conference in the nation, strength of schedule in the nation to begin the season, and one poll had us at the 11th best strength of schedule. So I think you can expect good things. We're playing lesser competition than we played earlier, and I think you'll be able to see it. Our pitching staff is finally rounding into form. We're getting a guy back healthy now. And the lineup is making more consistent contact. We're striking out less, just putting more pressure on the defense, making them field it.
Okay, so that's definitely good to hear. I'll be at some of your guys' games. this weekend and next weekend, I also believe, working some of the truck production. So I'm interested to get out there and see you guys for the first time this season. What do you think the biggest strength of our team is for this year, at least from what we've seen so far?
I would say probably our ability to put the ball in play. We don't strike out a lot. I mean, we have a couple guys that'll strike out, but those are our big power hitters. You can expect maybe double-digit home runs from those guys for the season. Otherwise, our top two pitchers are very good. You can expect one of them to be drafted this year, Tyler Willman out of, Oshkosh, Illinois. He's getting about a third-round grade. I mean, power pitcher, 94, pounds the zone. I mean, just gets in trouble when he walks people, but he really overpowers hitters in the Summit League, and Aaron Michael is doing the same thing. I mean, you look at him, he's 5'9", 165, dripping wet, but he's doing a very nice job pounding the zone and pitching to contact.
I think my final question would be, which team are you most excited to play on your that you got remaining on your schedule?
Well, we do go to Brookings, South Dakota State, again later in the season, and they won the conference last year, and they ended up beating number 8 Oregon in the NCAA regionals last year. So I would probably say them, since they're kind of the reigning champ. But Omaha is a very good team. IPFW is very improved from last year. They beat North Dakota State twice earlier in the season. So the Summit League it's gaining a little more respect with South Dakota State knocking off Oregon last year. So we're looking to pick up the success.
Yeah, it sounds like the Summit League is really rising in college baseball. I mean, I don't know too much about it. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but like you said, South Dakota State knocked off Oregon. I know our team had a pretty good showing last year against a couple, schools with national prestige, if you want to put it that way. Mm-hmm. And I think, too, you stated on our last show that we've had like an up in recruiting, basically. Yes. Like we've got better prospects and stuff like that. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, and it's good to hear that. I think it would be cool to see some top major league prospects come through the Summit League, because we're always ready to watch some of the better talent come through here. And I'm kind of surprised baseball isn't as strong as it is in other places in the country, because like out here in Macomb especially, like all you see is really Cardinal stuff. You'll see some Cubs stuff. I'm the rare White Sox fan, but I'm kind of surprised that this isn't a school that's better known for baseball. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, our head coach came in from Iowa 2 seasons ago, so, I mean, we've got a little name recognition there. The coaching staff has done a great job with recruiting. We're now in Missouri. We've got a couple Iowa kids coming in. We're recruiting Chicago especially well. One of our assistant coaches is big in the Chicago area, so we've got some Indiana guys too. So we're kind of all over the Midwest, and we recruit the community colleges very well too. You can see a lot of our guys come from community colleges and have success here. So we recruit all facets of college baseball, high school and JUCOs.
I have a question. I want to know what are really the hotbeds of recruiting for high school baseball? Because I know basketball-wise, they say Chicago, Indiana, the D.C. area, the DMV. So what are like recruiting hotspots for if you're looking to play college baseball? Where's a lot of talent located at?
Definitely in the South. Definitely south of that Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
Florida is huge. Texas, it's just the number of games that they play compared to the northern schools. I know my high school senior year, we played 20 games, and schools down in Texas and Florida and Arizona play 60. I mean, it's like a summer thing for them.
Okay.
They play 3 times as many games, so you see more players out of there coming there.
I'm just a little surprised because, like I said, like especially in cultures like this, country kind of cultures, even up north, baseball is such a big deal here, such a big part of their culture. I'm surprised that they don't have more top prospects. I guess that it is. I can understand why it's a southern thing because of the weather and whatnot, but at the same time, it just seems like baseball is a big part of this culture, whereas basketball and kind of football are a more urban thing. Baseball's definitely got that country feel to it, so that's why I'm a little surprised that an area like a Macomb or even Iowa, Indiana, even Nebraska, that's where the College World Series is, I'm surprised they don't have more of an impact. Obviously, because like you had said, the summer has a big factor to do with it. They can play more games, but I feel like baseball has a stronger cultural impact here than it does there.
Right. I think you're definitely right. And even we recruit a little bit closer to home. I mean, we've got a couple kids from Bloomington Normal, Peoria, Decatur, down in Edwardsville, St. Louis area. So we're trying to recruit locally, but we're also trying to kind of spread out a little more. I mean, we've got a kid from Missouri already on the roster. We got a kid coming next year, so it's just kind of it's branching out right now.
Because for me, kind of like what Darius said, I know high school basketball the best. They have obviously the powerhouses in basketball. You got your Oak Hill Academy,
St. Anthony's.
Yep. Ames, I believe, where Harrison Barnes went to, and another.
McDermott.
Yeah, Doug McDermott.
You got these academies, to quote them, where a lot of the guys will transfer to. Like I know Mello went to Oak Hill. You got a lot of guys that'll transfer there their junior, senior year to get better scouted, better name recognition to go to college or even the pros for basketball. Is it kind of like that for baseball? Is there anything like that? I'm guessing down south.
Yeah. Florida is huge in that regard. Texas, not so much. Texas is just huge in college or football, high school football. I mean, Friday Night Lights. But otherwise, down in Florida, they've got kind of academies. You've got your big training facilities down there that all these combine guys go to. It's kind of the same deal for the baseball guys. They go to these big-time programs with old coaches that have college experience and MLB experience. So you can see more of those down south, even Georgia, Florida, Alabama. So just that area, basically.
Okay, I think that's all I got for you. I mean, I think we can turn this into now because I know baseball opening day was this weekend, right? Yeah. I know the White Sox.
Australia does not count.
Yeah, that's what I didn't even. I thought those were preseason games, and my roommate, who's a big Cardinals fan, was like, "No, those count." I was like, "That okay."
They do not count.
But
in my eyes.
I know the White Sox came back today. I saw they won their first game. They won today. Paul Konerko, I guess, played a big deal. I didn't see the end because I was here.
I was here. I didn't know it was his last year. Yeah. So
well, he's also like 42.
Yeah,
I mean, he's pretty old.
I'm happy for him. He's always been on my fantasy team for the last few years. This year, I don't think I was able to draft him because I didn't realize where he was at on the draft board. But I guess after you hearing Jeter, hearing about him, I guess goes down like 10 steps.
Yeah, because for me, I saw some of the game earlier today. I saw the start, and then I saw they were down, I think 5-3, and in the bottom of the ninth, I want to say, Konerko pinch hit the first pitch he saw all season. He scored, I believe, 2 runs to send it into extras, and I know they won in 11 on a wild pitch. So at least for the first 2-3 games, my White Sox are doing good, so I'm happy to see that. Though I don't pay very close attention to them. And as soon as they start doing bad, I will pay even less attention to
I think they could be a good team.
Really?
I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but who's going to know what Detroit does? So,
well, what are you guys? I think to ask the two baseball guys, we'll do baseball real quick here. What are your thoughts watching these first couple of games? Any surprises? Any early? Because I know it's 162 games, so you could essentially lose every game this month and still be all right. But any early storylines that are worth talking about to get our baseball covered?
Wow, real early storylines. I'm gonna say is how teams are gonna deal with their injuries. Texas is a big injury problem right now. I mean, their opening day pitcher, I can't remember his name, but it was his first MLB start.
Didn't they get him from like Japan or something?
No, Darvish was
okay.
Supposed to start,
okay.
But he's injured for I think till the next week or the week after that.
Okay.
So injuries have been the big story, and it seems like it's been this year has been injuries because there's a lot of injuries in basketball, a lot of injuries in football. It just seems like everybody's having Tommy John surgery, so the doctors are loving that because they're making money off of pro athletes right now. I think it's just the injuries right now. It's too early to see storylines emerging right now. I guess another one would be that CC Sabathia looked awful against the Houston Astros.
He's with the Yankees still.
Okay, still with the Yankees? I didn't know if he was still
Yeah.
there.
I know he lost a lot of weight, though.
He lost a lot of weight. You think that would help, but I don't know if it was just opening day. He's had a track record of his opening day starts have been horrible recently. I think he has like a 7 ERA on opening day, but he has good seasons. But I'm gonna go with injuries for me.
Well, you could touch on instant replay a little bit. Them implementing the new system. I guess I read a stat today. They've got 4 calls right and 3 have been overturned so far. So I guess the system is doing all right.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Preferably, it interrupts the flow of the game, and I'm a big fan of kind of just the human element is huge. I think the MLB umps actually go to spring training. They have their own academy, so they're trained professionals, and they do a good enough job for me without instant replay.
Because aren't they paid by? Aren't they a little bit different than the NFL refs? They are paid throughout the whole year.
Yes,
I think
Yes.
that's the big thing between. That's why the NFL was disputing because they want to be full-time employees. They are. I'm like, you would have to be with 162 games and you're being on the road forever. I forgot about that. I didn't get to see it. There was controversy already, and it was the second day with a play last night, I guess. I didn't get to see the video
that
of
was
it.
with Bruce Bochy, wasn't it, with the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, so I'm hoping I can see the highlights because I haven't watched PTI today, so maybe they'll have the video up or watch it on MLB. So there's always going to be controversy. I don't like the instant replay because you're talking from a guy that umpires during the summer here in Macomb, and younger kids and parents are okay with the younger age. But when it comes to slow pitch softball, they feel like we should get them all correct, and they know better than us because of seeing the video on TV. It's very difficult for us to stand up. And one of the additives is if you make a good stopping play and you're going to throw a player out, and it's going to be bang bang, you're going to throw that player out as an out because that defensive player worked a lot harder than that offensive player.
I think the only problem with instant replay is that baseball is the only sport of the 3 major sports that, and you can say 4 if you include hockey, that has no time limit. So I think a big complaint with baseball, and I even feel this way, that's part of the reason I stopped watching, is the game seems so long. And for 162 games with instant replay, and then you got, the manager challenges, when games start reaching around like 4 hours sometimes, like it's like you can't unless you're at the game. It's different when you're at the ballpark. Yeah. Being at a baseball game is great. That's a very enjoyable experience. I've been to many baseball games, been to a lot of ballparks. But when you watching it on TV, 4 hours, man, watching baseball and the game is real slow paced. Sometimes it becomes a problem.
Darius, you could not have said my opinion any better. I cannot watch baseball on TV. That's why I'm not a big fan. I can't. It's too boring for me. But I love going to baseball games. I go to 4 or 5 White Sox games a summer. I think I'm going to my first one right after we got out of school, I believe. But I love going to the games. It's a lot of fun. They have the best hot dogs you'll ever eat.
Hot dogs.
The hot dogs of baseball, you can't get any better. But for me, I can't.
I don't know what it is
TV.
about hot dogs either because I will not eat them at home, but I will eat them at a ballpark.
They got me.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a different kind of meat they use for ball games and then just give us the
they give us the crappy meat.
But no, I'm going to be going down to Busch Stadium on Monday.
Okay.
And if you ever guys get the chance, opening day for your team or any team, it's an atmosphere like none other. I haven't been to a playoff game before, but I think that'd be awesome. But opening day is probably one of the greatest things because basically downtown St. Louis basically closes down for the whole day.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to a Cardinals game. I'm not a Cardinals fan at all, but I like this. I like Busch Stadium, and I think it's got one of the better views in all of sports where you look out the outfield wall and you can see the arch. I think that's pretty cool.
It looks better now on left field side
Really?
now. The eyesore of that empty lot where old Busch Stadium was has actually been built up, and Ballpark Village is there.
I've always wanted to go. I got a lot of friends here who I've met who are big Cardinals fans, and I wanted to go there, and I wanted to go also to Milwaukee because realistically I'd have to stay in the Midwest area because I know Milwaukee's got a pretty
I've been
dope
to
stadium. I wanted
Miller
to go
Park
there
before. It was nice.
Is it good for baseball? I've been there for a
Yes.
concert, but
Yeah.
I want to go up there. The indoor atmosphere looks pretty good, and
Don't they have the water slide there?
Well,
They have Bernie slide.
yeah,
Bernie
Bernie
slide.
slide. Not a-
Somebody else has. Who is it that has the jacuzzi? I think that's the Diamondbacks. Or the
Yeah.
Rays. I think the Rays have it
The
too.
Diamondbacks have a jacuzzi.
Okay.
I think-
the Rays have the Stingray.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of a interesting part about baseball. One thing that I did like about it is baseball seems to have its own touches, like everywhere.
Yeah.
How the fields aren't necessarily the same dimensions,
That's
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
yeah,
real
and you
unique.
don't really get
Yeah.
that from others.
No.
From other sports because it's
Everything,
set.
yeah.
I mean, you'll have Houston that has the Crawford boxes
Yeah.
just barely 200 feet away,
Yeah.
and then you have. Well, I'm trying to think the furthest. Well, you have the Green Monster, who could
Yeah, I have been there. I haven't seen a game there, but I took a tour of Boston
Yeah.
a few summers ago. That's probably the coolest stadium I've ever been to.
Yeah,
is
I mean,
Fenway.
Houston. I want to go down to Houston just with the dimensions of that field and just see it. You go from 215, I think, in left field, and then you go to 410, 415 in dead center with a hill
With the
ramp
hill,
going up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Houston, they have my new favorite baseball player.
Oh,
now.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw
My
that.
main man, LJ Hose. Yeah, that stands for Lil Jerome Hose. There you go. That's my. I just wanted to drop that knowledge real quick. Make sure y'all check him out. I'm gonna get that man to the All-Star game somehow. That man deserves to be great.
Well, we have
Right?
such a big listener base
Yes,
here
we
in
do.
Macomb.
LJ
So it'll
Hose, man.
work.
Make sure y'all pay attention
Are
to him.
you Are you friends with Bud Selig, or do you?
Oh no. Me and my baseball ties kind of got a little disconnected with the whole steroid thing because me and Manny Ramirez used to be real cool, So I mean, and I was a Cleveland Indians fan, like I said, when I liked baseball. So Grady Sizemore, Travis Hafner, CC. Me and CC still cool. I see him every now and then when I be with Stephen A. But I mean, besides that, it's not really the same anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it for what we got with baseball. It'll definitely be interesting to keep up with it, but it's still
Maybe
they play 2 games.
Yeah, maybe our last show we can do a preview of who
The
we
summer,
think
the
of the
summer,
summer and see
yeah.
who we see make. I don't like making preseasons because it's so long of a season, and a lot can happen in the first month with even more injuries with getting to real baseball instead of all that fake baseball and spring training.
All right, I think from this we'll move on to, from America's, old pastime to, what I would say America's current pastime. That is the world of the NFL. The big headline, which we will all start out with, I want to get your guys' opinions on it, is obviously DeSean Jackson cut by the Eagles for, it seems like, what we're getting, the main reason is alleged, quote, gang ties. Is what the team has hinted at. I think there's more to it than that. It might be his play on the field, and I think him and Chip Kelly aren't the best of friends. They don't get along very well. But apparently that's a big reason is his alleged gang ties. I know Richard Sherman came to his defense, as have a lot of teammates and fellow peers in the NFL. And then he was quickly signed by the Washington Redskins, where he's been welcomed with open arms by specifically RG3 and D'Angelo Hall. What are your guys' opinions on the DeSean Jackson release and signing by Washington?
I'm going to put it with I'm not going to use the credit of it. I see it now after hearing them talk about it. I'm going with post-Hernandez era. Teams are going to be a little bit hesitant, I think, for now on with their players. I was surprised. His numbers were awesome in Philadelphia. I had no idea when they started thinking about trading him why. I am on the Eagles' side. I understand where they're coming from. My guess is this was not their last-ditch effort. Well, this was their last-ditch effort.
You think there's more to the story?
I think there's more to the story that they're not letting on, but I think they talk to him and say, "Hey, we know you need to start cutting ties because we're nervous." Because wasn't there a couple murders associated with some of his associates or a couple deaths at least. That's what I was hearing. I might have been.
I can't speak on that. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't hear about it myself, so I don't really know.
So
I know that the Eagles don't like the people he calls his friends. I know that had a lot to do with it, and that's been an issue with the two sides for a while now.
Yeah, so I guess it's them cutting ties is awesome. I've heard Jason Whitlock talking about it, and he got very adamant, and he took all 2 minutes talking about it. He goes like he was with the Eagles side because he goes like it's time to grow up, cut your ties. He was basically almost making an AI reference of saying that cut your ties and you could be better off. Need to grow up. You're making those multi-million dollars. Grow up, get away from your past. They can be your friends, but they can't be your close associates anymore.
I think that's an interesting opinion.
You could look at it kind of with possible gang ties maybe, but I'll look at it financially. I think Jackson was going to want a new contract. He's notorious, I guess, for wanting a new contract every 2 years, even when he's signed for 4 years. He got paid very handsomely by the Redskins. He got a 3-year deal, I believe, $24 million, $16 million guaranteed. So I'll look at it that way. And plus, this draft class is full with pretty good receivers. So I'm kind of looking at maybe some cheap labor for Chip Kelly, guys who might come from a more spread type offense that'll fit his system a little better. I know DeSean Jackson fit that mold perfectly. He could line up in the slot. He could line up outside the numbers. He could do anything. He had a great year last year, 80 receptions, 1,300 yards. But RG3's got to be very pleased, and I think this is a big loss for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're getting in the draft, but I think it's a for sure thing that Washington is getting a premier wide receiver.
Yeah, I think this whole gang affiliations crap is just BS. Total BS. That's nonsense. He had a career year last year, and we can say that he has people around him that is, may have gang affiliations, which I don't doubt. I don't know if you had a chance to read Richard Sherman's piece that he wrote on Monday Morning Quarterback. Him and DeSean Jackson grew up together. So they kind of, from similar neighborhoods. Now, Richard Sherman talked about how he has friends that are gang affiliated. Now, of course, I think anybody that's from an inner city or urban place, you got people around you that commit crimes. I mean, not even professional athletes. I'm sure some of us do. I know I got people that are friends who not the smartest on the legal side of the law. But I mean, sometimes that's what it is. I mean, are you just supposed to betray the people around you who's not doing everything right? No, you're not just supposed to leave them behind. I do understand that sometimes you do have to separate yourself. When people get a little crazy, be like, this is not productive for my life. I think the reason he got cut, it goes actually to what you were saying, Adam. The contract thing, every year he asks for a contract. And in the locker room, he's not necessarily the best guy in there from what I hear. I mean, we don't really know what goes on in the locker room. We know him and Chip Kelly didn't really get along. But that whole gang affiliation crap, I think that's stupid. Because you talked about AI, Ryan. AI had gang affiliations, but if you producing, then I mean, like I said, he had his best year, 82 catches last year, over 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. I mean, and they re-signed. Who did they re-sign?
Riley Cooper.
Riley Cooper. So it's cool. So it's a problem if we have gang affiliations, which are suspected. We have no proof on that, but we have proof, a video that one of our dudes, other receivers, participated in a racist act, and we're gonna give him a contract. I don't think that's acceptable.
That's why I put in post Hernandez. Like I said, teams are going to be very skeptical from now on, and that's where I think it was. I think that's where it's come from. We could find out next week that it was completely different. But I guess you were saying locker room situation. I don't want no negativity in my locker room. I don't care how good you are. If you're going to disrupt it a little bit, and that shows. They've always had disruption, the Eagles seems like, in the locker room. Can't get to a Super Bowl.
But the thing I don't understand is this. How is it that gang affiliation is a disruption that has to be cut? I don't understand that. We could talk. I mean, we talked about Riley Cooper. He didn't have to be cut. He had clear disruption. These gang affiliations, there's no evidence about this at all. So I think that's just a cover up. And really, I think it has something to do with him being black, of course. Because, I mean, we don't hear this about anybody else getting cut. Jim Irsay We might talk about him today. I don't know if we're going to. He got caught, had, what, $29,000 in his car.
It was a DUI at $29,000, and he had, I think, prescription pills on him.
And prescription pills. Let that be a black dude. Guarantee you they say he's doing a drug deal. Guarantee you it's a drug deal if it's a black dude do that. But now it's a white dude, and now, he needs to get therapy. Nobody would be asking for therapy if this was a black guy. They wouldn't. I've seen it many times. They never do it. So I think this gang affiliation, if he was white and the same thing, asking for contracts all the time, he would be a disruption. He might get cut. I'm not disagreeing with the cut part. I'm saying that the gang affiliations part, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Now, as far as with the Redskins, now we get the football stuff now. Me being a Cowboys fan, I'm not necessarily looking forward to having to play him and Pierre Garçon and Alfred Morris and RG3 all at one time. Because, me being a Cowboys fan, we look forward to beating up on the Redskins every year. And they really trying to mess this up for me, and I don't really appreciate that. But at the same time, it might be a little bit easier to beat the bum Eagles. So, I'll cut my losses and take my wins. The Cowboys will still be 8-8 like we are all the time.
We still don't know what we're going to get from RG3 after
That's
last
very
year.
true. That's very true. I know that he said he's not going to wear the brace next year. I like RG3. Even though, I can't stand the Redskins, I like RG3. I want him to be at his best. I want him to be healthy. But I think last year we saw when they had to play a first-place schedule, that's a lot of where some of his problems came up too. So he really has to work on his game. I think that I think DeSean, I think that's a great pickup. I don't think that that can really hurt them too much at all. That offense is real explosive now. If they suffer this year, it's really gonna be on RG3. That's really because Alfred Morris still produced last year in the defense. Because Alfred Morris still produced last year. So I think, and Pierre Garçon had a great year last year too. So it's really on RG3. They trying to help this man out, give him some weapons. So I think it's interesting to see what the Redskins do.
Yeah, I think for me, at least with the DeSean Jackson thing, the gang ties, I don't know enough about it, so I can't really comment or speculate on that. I know his, maybe not him, but his associates have been questioned in the past, and it's kind of one of those times, I guess, where it goes back to they question who he surrounds himself with. But right now, I'm going to have to take his side on it just because innocent till proven guilty, I guess. I haven't seen enough to really make an opinion on that. I think it was the right decision to cut him from the money standpoint, and I think like you said, there's a lot of good receivers coming in from the draft class. Should Marquise Lee somehow fall to the Eagles, I think that would be a great pickup for them right there. Yes. He'd be the perfect fit for them. But ultimately, DeSean Jackson, big fan of his game. I love the way he plays. He's kind of my type of wide receiver. I'm not a fan of his attitude. I've never been a fan of him just solely because of his attitude. I don't like the guys who are always complaining about a contract, always playing for the money. I lost a ton of respect for him and gained respect for Matt Forte. I think it was 2 years ago when they were both in their contract year and they had the exact opposite years. Matt Forte has the best season of his career, and this is a Packers fan saying this. Matt Forte has the best season of his career. He didn't complain, didn't whine, didn't talk about the money at all. He just went out and played, and he earned the money. Then we had DeSean Jackson, who I think he had one of his worst seasons of his career. I believe he sat out for a couple of games, if I'm not mistaken, for a nagging quote-unquote injury. And that's kind of the type of player I think he is. He's an explosive player, a playmaker, one of the best receivers in the NFL, but ultimately I don't like him because of his attitude, I feel. And plus, like all of you said, he has problems in the locker room. I've never been a fan of guys like that either. He doesn't seem like a good teammate to me. He seems a little too selfish. I don't know the guy personally. I'm not an Eagles fan, so I haven't seen him play too much. But what I have personally seen in the media and stuff like that, he's my type of player on the field. But once he gets to anything off the field, I question, I don't want to say his personality, but I think he has a bit of a selfish ego to him, which, I can respect. You got to get your money. You got to do you. I understand that. But at the same time, it comes to a point where I'd like to see guys put winning before the money, and I don't see him doing that. So I understand why the Eagles cut ties, at least for that respect, But with the gang ties, I can't comment or speculate on that for right now. I don't know why they would say that. There doesn't seem to be any evidence pointing towards that, so it really doesn't make any sense.
Eagles players stood up for DeSean Jackson?
I think
so. Because
that's
what helped when you were talking about Riley Cooper. Mm-hmm. What helped was having Michael Vick stand up at the press conference, right, even if it was, I can't say if it was forced or not. Right. It didn't look forced with the press conference, but I haven't heard any Eagles players stand up and goes like, why did you let him go?
But who's their locker room because Vick is not there anymore. He's with the Jets. So, they don't have I don't know if anybody who's a leader, like, as far as we think of locker room, Brian Dawkins is long gone. I don't know like who. Most of the guys seem kind of young. LaShawn McCoy, he's been there for a minute, but I never looked at him as a leader. Nick Foles is just now becoming, the starting
Nick Foles
quarterback.
has been on the bench for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He's been in the locker room for a while.
But
I don't say leader,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not seeing like a leader. I'm saying anybody. I haven't heard anybody stand up. I mean, McCoy could have.
I don't think
stood
he
up.
was very well liked in the locker room.
Yeah,
That's kind of
so-
what I'm going back to. Is why I'm not a fan of him. Is because he doesn't seem like he's a good teammate.
Right.
And
But,
I think
I
I think
that.
a lot of people liked Riley Cooper, and that's why you saw people stand up.
I don't know enough
what-
about.
yeah,
I don't know enough about Riley Cooper to say that.
I
but-
just like I said, I don't have a problem with him being cut or anything like that. It's the whole thing with the gang ties. And you talk about Whitlock, and I had to look at one of my old tweets because I forgot what he said. But Whitlock, I remember him saying on PTI that he attributed rap videos to doing something with gangbanging. What does making a rap video have to do
I
with
didn't
gang?
understand that part. That's where he went on. I think he started going off on a tangent.
And I saw that DeSean Jackson owns a record label, and there are some bad people. Now, I'm not disagreeing that there's bad people around him. Of course there is. But that also has something to do with gang ties. What does owning a rap label and having a rap video where there are guns in it have to do? First of all, if anybody knows anything about rap videos, most of that crap is props anyway. That's not real guns. The cars in there they don't own, and most of that jewelry is fake. So since when are we using rap videos as real evidence in real life?
To go off your point, what was kind of interesting, I'm not a Young Money fan whatsoever, can't stand Lil Wayne, but I saw an interview with Birdman on 60 Minutes, who's the owner of the Lil Wayne label, Young Money, Cash
Money,
whatever it
yeah.
is. And he essentially kind of said, I don't really believe anything I rap about. It's just we're keeping up an image, and this is what sells. So that's why I think rap music does kind of take a hit, because I guarantee you a lot of these rappers, I can't speak for all of them, but a lot of them, they don't live that lifestyle. That's just kind of what
Most
sells.
of them don't. Rick Ross, fraud self, correctional officer. Jay-Z ain't moving nothing. All he do is he got paintings now. He ain't moving no white. All them dudes are lying.
I thought that was an interesting thing, and that's kind of what I always think about when it comes back to the gang ties, rap music, how they kind of tie in together. I always go back to that interview, and I thought that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, because I think it is an image more than anything else. So I can't comment or speculate on the gang ties. Don't know enough. I don't think there's enough evidence to really point towards that. But if we're going to look at this from a football perspective, I do think, even though they're losing a great talent on the field, I think it was the right move for Philadelphia to release him, because I don't think that was going to work out anymore. If only because it seems like Chip Kelly and DeSean Jackson were not on the same page all year, even though DeSean was perfect for his system. But I do think that this could make the Redskins a very formidable opponent, especially for your Cowboys and everybody else in the NFC East over there, Darius. But yeah, I think because DeSean Jackson, when he's on the field, he seems like he's the perfect guy for a scrambling quarterback, at RG3, somebody who can keep the play alive. That's why I think he works so well with Mike Vick, because he's the type of guy where he can break off his route and come back and help his quarterback, and I could see that's the type of receiver that RG3 needs right now, especially with that offensive line he's got up there. If he's going to be under constant pressure, he needs a receiver that can come help him, and I think DeSean Jackson can definitely help out with that. But I think what the Redskins need right now is a defense. I know they signed Brian Arakpo to a franchise tag, I believe. I saw that last week. But Brian Arakpo alone is not going to fix the holes they had on defense. RG3 may have took a lot of the blame, for better or worse, but that defense was not helping a young quarterback out at all, and I think that's what they need right now.
Yeah, if they take an offensive player for their first-round draft, it's stupid. They need defense, and they need it quick. They're not going to get much because they gave up that pick to St. Louis, and St. Louis has that pick now.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're at in the draft board in the first round now.
That defense needs major.
Yeah. So they better take defense first few rounds. If not, I'd be worried to be a Washington fan still.
I think it's kind of like the Packers situation. If you're going to draft offense in this draft, you need to go to the line, because skill position-wise, you're fine. But you got to draft defense, no doubt. Secondary guys, D'Angelo Hall's getting up there in age. Some of the safeties haven't panned out. LaRon Landry didn't fit there. So you got to draft defense if you're Washington.
Like you said, D'Angelo Hall is getting up there in age, and he has sucked for like the last 8 years anyway. So as long as he's still on the team, then that means I can at least count one Cowboys victory per year. That's
So
all
you're
that
giving him
means.
1 out of 2 just
Yeah,
because
D'Angelo
Hall's
Hall
on the
automatically gives us 1 out of 2 because he does the same thing every year. He talks, runs his mouth the whole time, and then he gets burned the next 16 games. So I'm perfectly fine with D'Angelo Hall being a Redskin. Hopefully, give him a career contract, a lifetime contract. Let him stay a Redskin for the rest of his life, so we keep burning him up the field. If he stopped talking, this wouldn't be a problem, but he always run his mouth.
Yeah.
He was talking to Richard Sherman, too, a few weeks ago.
Really?
Just running his mouth as if he's good.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that.
Talking about, let's see, you have the longevity, be in this league for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Sherman in like 3 years has done more than you've done in like your last 7, but all right.
Well, I can't speak for Richard Sherman, but we brought up Mike Vick earlier, and we'll go to that. He is now with the Jets. Him and Sanchez kind of flip-flopped because Sanchez is in Philly. Why somebody signed Mark Sanchez, I don't know. But we are not going to talk about Mark Sanchez on this show. We're too good for that. So we'll go ahead and talk about one of my favorite players, Mike Vick. I love the guy to death. I think he's the perfect example of a comeback story if you would do that. So I wish Mike Vick all the best. He's definitely good enough to start in the league, even though his durability is in question. That's my dad's one criticism of him, which I could understand, but I just think he needs the right system and a good offensive line in front of him because that O-line in Philly, especially the past couple of years, have, I think, been allowing him to take too many hits. I think he's been smarter with the way he's managed the hits, but there wasn't much he could do, especially this last year in Philadelphia, because I know even Nick Foles got banged around a lot too, and he missed some time with injury. So it'll be good to see Mike Vick in New York. I don't know if it's the best fit for him. I know they're not necessarily the best team, but what do you guys see happening now that Vick is in and Sanchez is out for Rex Ryan and the Jets?
I don't know if Vick's going to even start.
You think they might? What is it, Geno Smith?
Yes. Geno Smith, and who even knows what they're going to do with the draft? It's the Jets. We're Jets, and you have Ryan as the head coach. You just don't know what he's going to do. I thought it was just weird. I don't know why they just couldn't trade the players after it was all said and done with Sanchez. But I guess I like it just because there might actually be an arm for Eric Decker to actually get some passes to him. So, but I still don't think he's going to start. I even think Michael Vick, by what he's been saying, says that he doesn't feel like he's going to start. I think he said it was Geno's team. I think that's what he said, and he was going to have to fight for it. So, let's see what happens.
I saw that comment by Vic, and you can maybe say that. I mean, it's been 1 year. I think you got to give a rookie quarterback some breaks. He's a rookie. I think you got to give a quarterback 3 years, say, to kind of see what he's going to do in the league. But I think it's actually a good move because this might motivate Geno. This will say Ryan has actually said it's going to be an open quarterback competition. I mean, and that may raise some eyebrows in New York and across the nation, but you could look at it 2 ways positively. Vic wins the job over Geno, and you got Michael Vick. And you got a backup as Geno Smith, which is better than a lot of backups in the league. And the other scenario would be Geno wins the job. You got Mike Vick as your backup, a quality starter in the league that could motivate Geno. And actually, Vick could teach him kind of his ways because Geno's a little bit of a mobile quarterback. Mm-hmm. He could kind of teach him the quirks of the game. And with the Jets last year, they didn't have anybody to throw to. Decker's there now. We'll see if they go wide receiver in the draft. So I think it's a good signing.
Just for being a Michael Vick fan, I hope it works out well for him. I hope he gets the starting job and they surprisingly make the playoffs. And I don't really care if they win any games, but I just hope he has a good year because he's really gotten beat up the last 2 years. He doesn't have too much longer left in his career. And so I just hope that he can end, just on a good note, no matter, how well that may be. Like of course, they're not contenders or anything, but I agree basically what everybody else here has said. I think in the long run, it's going to end up helping the Jets because you're either going to find out Geno Smith either as starting with Vic, being a mentor to him, or him being a backup to Vic. That's only going to get him better. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there's no way. And the deal is only 1 year. Right?
I think so.
A 1 year, $5 million deal. So, it can't do nothing but help him. So, I just hope it works out well for Vic.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Mike Vick on a team. I'm with you, Darius. He's one of my all-time favorite football players from his talent aspect. He's probably the most fun quarterback I've ever seen to watch play. And also, I just think he's the perfect story of the type of player I like, where you give somebody a second chance, and they build from an experience where they were down and out, and they come back with better character and stuff like that, and they've proven it. I think Mike Vick has shown the type of person he is. He's DeSean Jackson, the type of guy I don't want on my team. Mike Vick is definitely the guy I do want on my team right there. If it is just for a mentoring standpoint, I personally think he should start over Geno Smith. It can give Geno some advice, some learning techniques. He can mentor him, but I also think he's much better than Geno. Like I said, I think he's got all the skills. It's just if he can stay healthy or not. That's it. I think he's still a very, very good quarterback. If it wasn't for Tom Brady in 2010, I believe, it was Tom Brady who won that MVP. Mike Vick could have been the MVP back in 2010.
Great year.
I kind of wanted him. I was tempted to give him the MVP over Tom Brady just because I love Mike Vick. But I definitely think he should be starting in New York, and it can only help. I think either way it can only help Geno. He can learn a lot from a guy like Mike Vick, not just from on the field, but off the field as well. So I'm real happy for him. I still think he's got a few years left in him, depending on if he gets another serious injury or not.
Yeah. When's the last year he was?
His last full year, I think, was 2010, I believe.
It might be. That was definitely his last good year, regardless. I mean,
because I think every year other than that, he's had a serious injury.
Yeah, getting banged up a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy for him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't expect much regardless out of the Jets. This isn't – if it was maybe 2004, 2005 Michael Vick, then maybe I would say something. Yeah. But 2014 Michael Vick, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. This might be his swan song. So, I guess we'll see. I think that's all we got from NFL because time flew. We're already at 6:45, 6:46. So, we still got NBA and college basketball to come. So I think we're going to take our first break of the show right now, and we're going to come back. We're doing NBA talk when we get back, right? Before college.
Yeah, we might as well.
All right.
I know college, y'all want to have fun. Hey, y'all great, wonderful brackets.
Well, I was just ready to, because when I saw that 4-point play, I was like, next C4 Sports. I am getting Darius bad. I've been waiting.
Well, you got to talk about that.
All right, so we got VCU and much more on the other side of this break. This is C4 Sports on 88.3 The Dog.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy
backsplash. I want to be a bike that races around the country.
When I grow up,
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch.
I want to be a skyscraper.
I want to be When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
All right, after that quick break, we are back on C4 Sports right here on 88.3 FM, The Dog. We're going to talk some NBA before we get into college basketball. We'll start it off with the Indiana Pacers. They were kind of everybody after the Derrick Rose injury, especially everybody's consensus pick to win the East. But all of a sudden, for the first time since maybe the first month of the season, they've been overlapped by the Miami Heat for first place in the East. Both teams were kind of in free fall for a bit about a month ago. And after the Pacers beat the Heat, after Chris Bosh missed the potential game-winning shot, I personally thought, oh, well, this is it. I'm disappointed as a LeBron fan. I'm worried. I think the Heat are going to keep struggling going into the playoffs, and now this is going to propel the Pacers. It's kind of done the opposite. The Pacers just continue to lose as the Heat have stabilized. They're playing well. LeBron's been playing well. And the Heat overtake the Pacers for first place in the East. What do you see as the Pacers' problems? Darius, you're my fellow NBA aficionado, especially here on the show, so we'll start with you.
I could just point to Paul George with all the problems he's had, the stripper pregnant rumor, getting catfished by some dude on, online. But, I mean, those are stuff that happens outside we can laugh about that. That happens, outside the locker room. But I think it's starting to get real when Roy Hibbert came out this week and said there's some selfish guys in the locker room. And when you say that, and basically everybody knows you're talking about Paul George, because, I mean, everybody else besides Evan Turner basically
I heard
passed the ball, so.
He was talking about Lance Stevenson too.
Well, I mean,
he's kind of J.R. Smith version too, where
Well,
he's
see,
just not afraid to take these 40-foot threes.
That's the problem. Lance is wild.
Yeah.
Paul George is just not playing good ball, and Hibbert wants the ball. David West seems to be mad all the time.
Well, I watched First Take a few days ago, kind of when this was the hot topic after their last loss, and Stephen A. made a couple interesting points, specifically with Roy Hibbert, where he's quick to criticize his teammates, but unless they're playing like the Heat or the Bulls or the Thunder, he doesn't show up against these poor teams, and then he'll go for 20 and 20 against Miami.
Yeah,
and that's what gets the Bulls in trouble. As a Bulls fan, that's what gets them in trouble, is they just do not show up against these crappy teams. Then they'll go out and beat Miami by 15 and beat Oklahoma City on a game winner, and then they'll lose to Charlotte and the Kings the next day. And that you can't. I think it's been proven you can't win championships if that's your mentality.
Yeah, the pressure I think is starting to get to him, and that's why Roy Hibbert is talking. But the crazy thing about all this is still that no matter what happens, they still have the right pieces and they play right when they play the Heat. So it's almost like it doesn't change that. But I'm starting to think the Bulls, if they might end up taking out Indiana. If they get that 3 seed, I think that's how the second round works, the 2 and the 3 play.
Yeah.
If they get that 3 seed, and right now they're basically tied because them and Toronto are both 9.5 out of the first seed. They get that 3 seed, Chicago might take out Indiana. And that would be a real problem for, of course, the Pacers. They're just not playing good ball. I'm disappointed in them. I've been saying for a while that I wasn't really feeling them, and I don't know what it is, but
I can't. I've seen them play a few times. I saw that Heat.
I saw
their loss at the few. I think over the weekend they lost, and I forgot who they were playing, but they lost pretty bad. I think it was the Spurs.
They got destroyed by Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs killed them. Yeah. They lost to the Cavs without Kyrie.
Yeah, I saw the Spurs game, and I couldn't even see this team. I was like, how did this team beat Miami?
Then I have a question. Is by what I see Paul George as a very quiet person. Mm-hmm. Is he different on the court, or is he the same quiet person that doesn't seem like a leader?
On the court, he doesn't seem quiet to me. On the court, he seems a little cocky. Okay. But see, it was kind of like an attractive cockiness when they started.
It's not that confident.
It might. Well, I don't think it's confident because he's definitely not playing good. I don't. And I mean, technically, David West might be the leader in that room, but besides that, Paul George has to be the best player. And unless he's playing LeBron, he's not playing well. But the thing is, LeBron is better than him even when they play each other. Like, LeBron had a good game when they lost, which I didn't even realize till after.
The Pacers got a little lucky.
David
West, his fourth 3 all season.
Well, let's go back to that game. First of all, Dwayne Wade, I have no respect for that man, okay? When Lance Stevenson looked at him and said something to him, Dwayne Wade laughed and then turned around and looked at the ref, and then the whole Heat team got up and surrounded the ref so they could call another technical. So forget you, Dwayne Wade, for being a petty little girl. I like the trash talk, so I'm cool with Lance. But when the playoffs come, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, that's what I have to say though. As a LeBron fan, so to defend Miami, I've never seen anything like it. Even last year, I was like, oh, they kind of struggled. They limped into the playoffs last year, and I was like, oh god. And then every year, it's just like, okay, now it's the playoff time. Now LeBron James is going to go score 30 a game, and Dwayne Wade will actually play well. Maybe not every game, but every other game we'll see Dwayne Wade play well. Bosh isn't a giant wuss, for lack of a term I can't say on the radio, but Bosh seems to step up his game as well. The Heat and the Spurs are the two teams in the NBA that they coast through the regular season, and when the playoffs come, they kick it to another. I don't see anybody else in the NBA do that.
Like I said, I don't think the Heat will three-peat, but I think they're going to come out the East now.
Could the Pacers just turn it up and they're just going to limp into the – which you really don't want to because you want that 1 seed? Mm-hmm. Do you see them turning it around and we're going to see the team we did the first month?
I think they could. I think they could just be chilling, and then when they play the Heat, that they turn it back up. But the only reason that I've taken off from supporting the Pacers is because I don't feel like they deserve the right to do that. Because the Heat have been to 3 straight NBA Finals. They've won the last 2. So I think when you win, then it's like, okay, step back. You know, you're trying to rest because you're going into June every year. That's a deep playoff run. The Pacers haven't won anything. So I feel like they don't have the benefit. First of all, I don't like even when the Heat do it. I feel like everybody, you should play hard every night. But I understand it. The Pacers, you won nothing. You don't have that benefit. Every night you should be playing hard. And I don't see that from them.
And that's the Spurs right now. That's
the Spurs.
You say they're coasting. coasting and winning 18 games.
That's
when
how
you, when
Greg,
you, said- when you
that's
said
how Popovich
they are,
does
but
it.
they are coasting.
Yep.
They're coasting with awesome wins.
That's just how Popovich does it. What's the Greg Popovich way is you rest your starters, coast into the playoffs, but still win 50 games a year. Because Tim Duncan, I saw a stat of his 16 years, he's had 50 wins, 15 of the 16 years. That's the Greg Popovich way. You coast, you win 50-plus games, and you get zero media attention. Yeah. That's the Spurs way right there.
And I love Pop as a coach when he has to do those interviews in between the third or fourth quarter and the ESPN analysis. We're playing rock, paper, scissors to see because he just doesn't want to talk. And probably one of the greatest quotes was that sometimes he doesn't even say anything during timeouts. Why do you need to when you have Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan? And when he said that, a lot of people were upset because, like, he's had the same team all these years because, like, they could basically be the coach. They can be the coaches because they know what Pop's thinking.
Yeah, and I think this was my preseason pick. I picked the Spurs to win the championship. I think I had them over the Bulls, and then I changed it when Rose got hurt to over the Pacers. But I've said all year I've rolled with the Spurs, so I guess thank you for making me, because I had the Thunder early, and then when you told me about their bench, Darius, I switched to San Antonio because of everything. They had the heat on the ropes. It wasn't for LeBron's fourth quarter and that Ray Allen 3 in Game 6. They had the heat right where they wanted them. And surprised, I don't know what happened in Game 7. Those two missed the layups by Tim Duncan. We could have seen them as the champions last year. And everybody's like, they're too old, but I don't see it. They're the most complete team in the NBA. And just they have the most experience, and when it comes playoff time, they're able to put it to another level. And I still say Tony Parker is the most underrated player in the NBA. He is arguably the best point guard in the NBA right now, him or Chris Paul, I'd say. But I don't know what it is. The Spurs just don't get the media coverage, but they've won so many games. They're going to be the number one seed in the West, which is the better conference of the two, and I see them winning the championship. I really do. Maybe I'd still say Indiana right now just because I think it's really just LeBron over there in Miami. He might be good enough to bring him to the final. So I'd say Indiana. I'm kind of on the fence right now. I might lean towards Miami to come out of the East, but I just don't. The Spurs are too complete where I don't see Miami or Indiana or maybe even Chicago being able to beat them right now.
Yeah, I think whoever comes out the West will win. But the crazy thing, and this might sound real stupid, if the playoffs start today, the Spurs play the Suns. And if I'm the Spurs, I don't want to play them.
Yeah.
I don't. The Suns are going to get up and down the court. The Spurs are old. Now, now the playoffs, of course, it goes to a half-court game, but I don't want to play Goran Dragic, Gerald Green, Eric Bledsoe. I don't want to play them in the first round. And then if you look at who's at the 7th seed, that's Memphis. They had problems with Memphis before when they were 1 seed, and Memphis knocked them out. 6th seed, Golden State. I definitely don't want to play Golden State in the first round. So, I mean, it's not going to be easy. This whole Western Conference right now, I'm looking at all 8 of these teams, and the top 6, I wouldn't be surprised if they got to the conference finals. The top 6, you got San Antonio, OKC, the Clippers, Houston, Portland, and Golden State. All 6 of them to me they basically all contending.
Yeah, I think the team that you could say is a dark horse in the West is Golden State, just because they have underachieved all year, where we all had them in our top 4, top 3, maybe even in the finals out of the West.
Yeah, that's what I had them in the freaking finals.
But I still think they could do it. They finally seem to be playing well. Granted, they got the benefit of an admitted bad call by the NBA. But I don't really think it mattered because Steph Curry's shot was a 3, right?
No, he shot a 2.
Oh, he shot a 2?
It was a step back, too. But, I mean, they're having problems, too, in the locker room.
Yeah.
They're talking about with Mark Jackson is a problem with there because he had Brian Scalabrine demoted. So they're having some locker room problems, too. But quietly watch out for my boys in Portland. They won 4 straight. LaMarcus Aldridge came back, and ever since then, they've been on a little roll.
I need them to do bad because I have Damian Lillard, and he's been balling since LaMarcus came out. And the guy I'm playing in the finals for our fantasy basketball is Aldridge. So LaMarcus can stay hurt for a little bit.
Man,
okay.
This Western Conference playoffs is going to be good, man. Houston and Portland are most likely playing in the first round. Clippers and Golden State in the first round. I'm excited. I'm ready for it right now. But I gotta wait a little bit more. But we almost there.
I wouldn't be surprised you touched on it a little bit if Indiana stays at that 2 seed. The Bulls pass Toronto.
Yeah.
To see the Bulls play the Heat in the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'm not interested in the East.
Yeah, man, I'm not.
It's a bum league so far, and the West is far dominant. I definitely agree. I see the winner this year coming out of the West. If Miami can somehow turn it on again, and we say it every year, that they won't, but they do. San Antonio has got my vote right now. Don't sleep on the Clippers. I'm gonna ride with them this year. They're playing better as of late, so we'll see. Come playoff time, it'll be interesting, for sure. The West will be the premier conference. You'll see more Game 7s out of that.
Do you see a chance that I was just looking at the standings? Shows you how much I've been paying attention. Do you see if it stays where it is? Well, hopefully it switches with Toronto and the Bulls because I don't want to see a Bulls-Brooklyn first matchup.
Yeah, I don't either.
Is there a chance that Miami doesn't even make it to the Eastern Conference Final? Do you see with Brooklyn and how they've played against them?
Yeah.
Could they withstand that for a 7-game series if it went 7 games?
Brooklyn has been playing very good basketball since the All-Star break. I think they had not since the All-Star break, since January 1st. I think they have the 4th best record in the league. I don't think they'll beat Miami, and I just don't feel like they will. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I think they can push them to at least 7 games, though. So, I mean, it's a chance, but Kevin Garnett has been out for a while, and I know he's suffering with a back injury. He's not going to give you a lot of production offensively, but you need that type of energy, just to beat somebody like Miami. So I think that's going to be the big difference because I don't really trust Joe Johnson in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Deron Williams has really been on and off since he left Utah. So, and I mean, they have Sean Livingston starting, which what do you do for him? But I mean, I like how Brooklyn is playing, and I do respect it. And I'm happy that, they've really improved. They turned this thing around. So, but I don't really think – I think the best chance for Miami to not get to the conference finals is actually playing the Bulls.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that somebody can really, take them out.
Yeah, I think I agree with Darius. I think the only way they don't reach the conference finals is if they have to play the Bulls. I still think they beat the Bulls regardless. In 6, maybe 7 games if we see the Bulls really play well and get under Miami's skin. I'd probably say right now Miami in 6, but I think the only real threat for that is if the Bulls, if Miami doesn't get the 1 seed, if Pacers somehow jump them, is Chicago is really the only team other than Indiana that poses any threat, and I just don't think the Bulls have the fourth quarter scoring to combat LeBron James, and also Dwayne Wade as well in the fourth quarter. They don't have. If they had Derrick Rose, completely different story. Even with this team they have, the team that I don't want to say they've sold out on the team, but the team they've kind of diminished a little bit with the Derrick Rose injury, it would be a completely different story. But that's my problem with the Bulls as a Bulls fan, is they don't have the fourth quarter scoring. When you need a bucket, they don't have a LeBron James. They don't have a Kevin Durant. They don't even have a Paul George, Lance Stevenson type guy. They don't have Derrick Rose. So I think that's why they ultimately cannot beat Miami in a 7-game series.
Yeah, if you could combine the Bulls' toughness and defense with the Nets' amount of different types of scores, then I think that would be
that might be the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, well, that's very true. That's very true. So let's just forget I said that.
We actually have a Twitter question real quick from my cousin Anthony, who is a regular listener. This is at ACPro9. He asks, will the Big Three return to Miami at the end of the year?
Interesting. I just saw Dwayne Wade said that they're going to meet up at the end of the year. That's what I was going
to mention, yeah.
I've been basically saying the whole year I don't think so because they all can opt out. I don't think Wade is going to opt out because if he opts out, there's no way that he's going to get the same type of money that he's getting right now. Well, he doesn't deserve to get the same type. So he's going to have to take less money, which I don't think he's going to do. So I think he's going to stay. I don't see LeBron leaving. And so, but I think Bosh is gone.
Okay.
I
hope, as a LeBron/Miami fan, I hope Bosh is gone.
I think Bosh is gone because I think that he's tired of being looked at as a third option. I think that he's got his wins, and I think he's not going to go anywhere and be a first option again like he was at Toronto, but I think he wants to be respected a little bit more. So I think Bosh is going to end up leaving.
I definitely agree. You said everything. Wade's kind of a lifer, I guess. He's kind of – I don't want to compare him to Derek Jeter because they're not even in the same breath, but he's kind of one of those guys that you couldn't see him in another uniform, really. I mean, you could put it that way. I don't think LeBron leaves either. All these rumors about him going back to Cleveland and winning one for Cleveland, that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
I think if Cleveland didn't tank this year, that might be a
Yes.
viable option.
Yes.
We didn't see these guys are just bums,
horrible.
basically.
Right. I was anticipating Deion Waiters would have a good season. Kyrie would have a good season, but they've completely bottomed out.
Yeah.
I can't see him going anywhere else, but I could see Bosch going to kind of a middle-of-the-line contender, maybe a Golden State, complimenting them, giving them some down-low presence. Someone in the West. Otherwise, I can't see the big three back, really.
I'm going to say no, but it's going to depend on what happens in the playoffs. If Dwayne Wade is the reason why they don't make it even to the conference finals or to the NBA finals, I could see LeBron saying goodbye. That's the only thing I could say, because unless D-Wade has this heart-to-heart and say, I'm leaving for the good of the organization and LeBron can stay to help make the brand better, I don't see D-Wade leaving. So and LeBron would probably never say that to D-Wade's face.
Yeah.
But he, in the back of his mind, goes like, if he's going to be here another year and we're getting older, and then I see Bosch leaving no matter what. So, but I also see, like I said, LeBron leaving if D-Wade's the reason why they lose the championships, because he'll play even less games next year.
Yeah.
Because his knees will get even worse because he doesn't want to have surgery on it.
Yeah.
So.
But for me, being the big LeBron fan here, I think kind of what you said, Ryan, that it does depend on what they do in the playoffs. This is what I said about LeBron back in 2010. If somehow that Cavs team won the championship, he'd stay. But I said before the 2010 season started, when all the speculation started to become popular for that summer, was if he doesn't win, which I didn't think they were, he's leaving. Because for LeBron, it's not about the money, it's not about the imaging, the branding, or whatever. He's got all that already. He wants to win. And he's going to do whatever it takes. He wants to be, he said multiple times, he's like, I want to be the best ever. I essentially want to be better than Jordan. And he knows he's got to win championships. And he's going to go to the place where he best feels he can win. That's why he left Cleveland, was because Dan Gilbert could get Jerry Stackhouse, 40-year-old Shaquille O'Neal, and Mo Williams, who did his magical disappearing trick in the playoffs the 2 years he was there. That's why he left Cleveland to go to Miami. Was to win, and he's won in Miami. So I think if they don't win, I honestly think he might leave. It's going to take, if they don't win, it'll take big changes, which might mean Wade leaving, because Wade has proven he's no longer the Robin that he needs. I think he used what was left in that Robin tank in the finals. He had a great finals last year. He gave it his all. I respected the hell out of Wade for his performance in the 2013 finals. But I think he gave everything he had. And I don't know if he can get to that Robin standard anymore. So we might see Wade gone. He might have to take a big pay cut if he wants to stay for that. The Homer thing would be the only reason they keep him. Bosch, I think, is gone. I think he wants to stay because they're all good friends. Those three have a special bond. Yeah. But I think Bosch is gone regardless. I think they trade Bosch or just waive him straight up. They try and get something back for him. And they'd have to bring in. It'd have to do what Cleveland didn't do. They'd have to make a splash in free agency, bring in another big name to keep LeBron there because he wants to win. I think if they win, he stays regardless, and I still think they should bring in a big name, or even if they do win. But right now, I don't think they are, so I think they'll either need to bring in a big name to keep him, or two of the three are gone. I think Wade stays for the Homer effect, and LeBron and Bosch. I don't know if they go to the same team, but I think LeBron does a similar thing where he goes to the Bulls, possibly the Lakers. I don't really know where he would go. I would have said Cleveland. But kind of like what you said, Adam, Cleveland this year has just been terrible. The one game LeBron played him, there was a couple jokes on Twitter. I think I saw you retweet a couple, like, why would LeBron want to go here? That little pass he had to Ray Allen, where I watched it the first time, I was like, wait, how did Ray Allen get the ball from that? But it was like, why would you ever want to go to Cleveland? So I would say Chicago, maybe L.A. I don't really know where he would go, but that's kind of why I'm tempted to say even if they don't win, he stays.
L.A. Lakers?
Yeah.
I don't see him.
I hope he doesn't go.
I see him and Kobe.
I hope
coexisting.
I hope he doesn't go to LA because I can't stand the Lakers or Kobe. But I've heard a lot of ties there. That's kind of the thing too. Why I'm tempted to say he does stay and they bring somebody in to help him is because I don't know where he would go. I would have said Cleveland. I don't know, Chicago.
Only place I see him go is New York.
Yeah.
And the thing that I was going to get into, even though this is coming into this year, everybody was talking about LeBron. I don't actually have no concern where I think he's going to go. Like 2010, I was like, okay, it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited to see where Melo goes. Y'all know I really don't care for Melo, but I like New York as a market. If I was a free agent and I had all 30 teams coming after me, let's say on a blank scale, New York would be a top 5 place I would go play. L.A., none of them would be in there because I don't like L.A. I've been there. I don't like the place. Philadelphia, just because, the whole AI thing. But New York, I like everything about New York. And Phil Jackson, even though as a GM he has done nothing as a front office man, his resume just as a coach. And I think it's real interesting to see what Melo does, because if you talked about if the Heat lose and Wade's not going to take a pay cut and Melo says he's going to stay, look out just in case LeBron goes there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's my big prediction, is if I had to make one, it's LeBron and Melo team up. I think it would be more likely Melo coming to Miami. They get rid of Bosh. Wade would take the pay cut. LeBron's already taking a pay cut for the best player in the NBA. He's only making, I think, $16 million.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge pay cut. He's worth 25, like what Rose is making. But I think Melo takes a bit of a pay cut. If he wants to win, he says he wants to win.
Yeah.
So if he wants to win, he's got to take the pay cut. That's my bold prediction, is Bosh is gone and he's replaced by Melo and maybe another guy, maybe not a Carmelo Anthony style, but they need a big man as well.
Yeah, they need some more help down there.
Does Melo in the offseason need to be the first, I guess, the first person that needs to make a decision?
The first domino?
I think
so.
so.
That's the word I was thinking. The first domino.
I think he has to. I think
if not,
LeBron,
are we talking about just a stalemate for the longest of time?
I think that
unless he says right after the season, bring me somebody and I'll stay. I think Melo needs to make a decision quick, or it's going to be a stalemate of see if LeBron even leaves.
I think the problem with Melo is so many different sources that we don't even know what's in his mind.
I think he's
right
got
now.
too many people talking to him.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
You got people talking to Stephen A. Smith. And then, of course, Stephen A. and Melo are cool, so it's almost like I don't even know if they're communicating. I think it's just sources that know Melo. And then you hear that the Knicks didn't even talk about Phil Jackson to Carmelo before they brought him in. They just did it, and Melo didn't know about it after he got brought in. So it's kind of like I don't really know what Carmelo is trying to do. And then everybody, of course, is talking about the Bulls. Oh, he should go to the Bulls. He should go to the Bulls.
I don't want him in Chicago.
I really don't. If it works out properly, it will be the best move for everybody involved. But I don't know if it's going to work out just because I've never seen a player after 11 years just magically become a defender.
That's what I said. That's what everybody's saying. Oh, he'd learn under Tibbs. Well,
yeah, I'm like,
no, he would have learned by now.
I've never seen anybody do that. So, I mean, I think Melo can change a whole lot of stuff up because regardless, New York has to have somebody there. The league, if certain teams in the NBA is better if certain teams are good. Like the Knicks have to be good. Just like football. Football's better if the Packers are good, if the 49ers are good, if the Cowboys, iconic franchises, Yankees in baseball. When the Knicks are good, basketball is just better in the NBA. So the Knicks, regardless, are going to have somebody down there that can, bring guys in the seat. So it's real interesting just to see what Melo does overall.
Yeah, I don't think Melo's coming back to New York just because of the terrible season they've had with all that talent. That's why my roommate's always like, oh, yeah, the Knicks are going to get into the playoffs. I'm like, why are you cheering? I'm like, if they don't make the playoffs with the amount of talent they have, I will never do a bigger facepalm than I will when the day they get eliminated. But I don't see him coming back to New York because I don't think he'll win there pending a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, I don't know, a major signing.
It's still with the coaching because all speculation is Woodson's gone and Steve Kerr's in.
Steve Kerr.
And could he be that good of a coach that he could coach big profile players?
I think to keep.
I think Steve Kerr earned a lot of respect playing with Chicago. Yeah. That's when I watched Steve Kerr.
I'm not saying he won't be successful as a coach, but I think to keep Carmelo Anthony, you need the Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson type of, maybe even a Tom Thibodeau type of name recognition. I don't think Steve Kerr has that to keep Carmelo. I'm not saying he'll be bad or good. Right. I think to keep Carmelo, if you're going to try and do that, I don't think Steve Kerr has the name recognition that Carmelo Anthony would be looking for.
And I'm just saying this because of other speculation. I cannot believe I'm going to say this. Could you see it would be a good thing first of all, but Calipari going to New York and be able to handle?
I don't see it. No,
I don't think he'll leave Kentucky after this year.
Especially with how good they've done. Like they came out of nowhere. What are they, a 9 seed? 8 to make the Final Four? I mean,
he tried that before when he went to New Jersey, and it was a total
All
fail.
Speculation is that he's leaving. And this is coming from Big Blue Nation also. They're saying, especially if they win a championship, he's gone. Because he's always said that he's wanted to win an NBA championship.
I think it's actually more likely that Tom Izzo leaves and goes to Detroit. Because I know that's been a lot of talk. So I think that's actually more likely. But I want to ask y'all this about Carmelo. if they do make the playoffs, because right now they're they're one game out, and they're playing Brooklyn right now, and they're beating them by 20 last I saw. So if they make the playoffs as an 8 seed, they win by 20.
They were winning
30?
by 23.
23, okay. So if they make the playoffs as an 8 seed, and I'm telling you right now, if they play Indiana, they're going to challenge them. They're going to win at least one of those games. If they make the playoffs, just regardless, do you think Melo will stay there?
No, I still don't. No. Just because of all the turmoil they've had this year.
They need to lose.
And I think just too, with the amount of talent they had, even if they make the playoffs to be an 8 seed, that's still bad. That's still bad. They should have been a 3 or a 4, no worse than a 5. With the amount of talent in this Eastern Conference, the fact the Raptors are a 3 seed and the Knicks would be an 8 seed, I don't see it. I don't think Melo has confidence in the organization. I don't think the organization has confidence with him. I think there's turmoil not in their locker room, because I follow a lot of them on Twitter and Instagram. Him and like JR and a lot of guys like that, and Tyson Chandler are all very close. They like each other a lot. I think it's the players and the management, even the coaching staff, don't necessarily get along. And I think you see a big overhaul in New York. Maybe they have to struggle for a few years.
Yeah,
but I think that's what would be best for them. And I just don't see it. I don't think Melo is very happy with the organization. I don't think the organization is very happy with him.
Well, let's just say I hope they make it, because I don't want to see Atlanta on TV.
Yeah, I agree. It would be so much better TV.
Yeah,
if the
I
Knicks
really hope the Knicks make it, man. Because, even though I don't like Carmelo, he's going to give you 40 at least one of them nights.
That's why I want to say he can win a championship, because it's just too much talent and too much skill. He probably is the best offensive player. I know Durant's the scoring champion and whatever, and probably the MVP, but he is probably, watching him the post game is what does it. Durant still has no post game, but he's probably the best offensive player in the NBA. He doesn't really play defense, but still, if he got in the right situation, I still want to say he can win a championship, but there are times I bang my head against the wall when the ball just gets to him. This is why he would not work in Chicago at all. Put the defense aside. He doesn't play defense. Put that aside. The Bulls' offense works off the pick and roll game, screening without the ball, backdoor cuts. It's almost a college game that the Bulls play. Carmelo Anthony is the ball stops. It's 24 seconds of him going one-on-one with whoever he's guarding.
Right.
That's not Tom Thibodeau, Chicago Bulls basketball. Carmelo Anthony, I'm telling my fellow Bulls fans, it will not work. I'm convinced it will not work if he goes to Chicago. I want Kevin Love. Bring me Kevin Love, please. I think he would work well. I do not want Carmelo Anthony on the Bulls.
And people, just for some reason, just seem to forget that Derrick Rose, that we have no idea who he is anymore. And people are just like, oh, yeah, he's going to be great. Even if he's back at the MVP level, we saw LeBron and D. Wade struggle to play together their first year together. You think that Derrick Rose, an offensive point guard who likes driving to the basket, and Carmelo, who just catches the ball and doesn't move, they're just going to click automatically the first year?
Both of those guys still struggle defensively.
Exactly.
But my fellow Bulls fans, Derrick Rose is not a good defender.
He is not a good defender.
Not a good defender at all. And Carmelo Anthony doesn't know what defense really is.
He really doesn't.
I think he saves his energy for the offense.
He can't even spell the word.
So I'm telling you right now, I don't want to see this happen as a Bulls fan. This is not good for the organization. I really just don't see that. Any positives coming out of that?
No, I don't see any positives. I actually think I'm going to go against the norm of all you guys. I think Carmelo stays.
Okay.
And I think bringing in Phil Jackson is huge in his eyes because he's a proven winner. And I don't think Phil is going to let the the turnover happen. I think he's almost going to force, if there's a way to do it, to have Melo stay and say, we're going to wait till 2015, and we're going to make a strong push for Kevin Love.
Yeah.
We're going to get him here. We're going to maybe draft a good young point guard. We're going to maybe go out and get somebody that's up and coming maybe. So I can't see Carmelo leaving New York. I don't want to see him in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I could maybe see him in L.A. I know his wife she likes L.A.
Yeah.
Is it Lala?
Yeah, I don't.
Lala loves L.A.
See, I don't think that would work either.
Yeah, me either.
I think he'd butt heads with Kobe, even if it's for a year. Otherwise, I could maybe see him going to a Western Conference team. Maybe, I don't know how much money Houston has left.
Yeah, I must say, because they did try to get him during the trade deadline.
But I would say Houston could be a landing spot.
I think if they get rid of a Sheik, the world of opportunities that they dish that a Sheik like $16 million.
Yeah,
contract.
I think they tried to trade him and Jeremy Lin this trade deadline, but the Knicks, of course, want Chandler Parsons too, which only makes sense. You're not going to keep Parsons and have Melo. That would be like robbing the bank. So the Knicks, I kind of agree with you a little bit that Melo might stay, just because, and I don't see anywhere that he can go where he can still be a number one option and contend. You know, like it's not going to get any better for him as a number one player. The best place for him is New York because it's the grand stage, even if they keep losing. So I don't really know. He's going to have to get like real humble, and I don't really know if he's trying to get that humble. So I mean, he might just stay around. Maybe Phil can turn something around for him.
I think New York's probably the best option for him. Yeah. Brand-wise, marketing, maybe not the team-wise. I think the missing piece definitely in New York is a point guard. Raymond Felton's not the answer. He doesn't play defense either. He doesn't. Yeah. His offensive game is diminished. All these young point guards run circles around him.
Exactly.
So.
Well, what the Knicks could do is, Stephen A. is one of their biggest fans. Phil could call Stephen A. They're looking for a point guard. I am available. Just, happen to be. I am a free agent at the moment. So, I mean, Phil, if you want to get in contact with me, only guarantee is that I wear number 13 and I can wear my headband and my Nikes in the game. After that, then we're cool. I don't really need all that much money. I'll play to earn it, Just guarantee me I'm going to get some minutes, though. I need my minutes. I'm better than Raymond Felton. I feel like in practice I'll just, get by him because he's fat. He's like the Pillsbury Doughboy. So go ahead, just sign me, Phil. I will play for you, let's say $100,000 next year. 82 games, that sounds like a good deal to me. I mean, that's a bargain.
I think they have to pay you at least like
300.
Yeah,
well, we're just gonna put that on the paperwork,
okay.
But secretly under the table, I'm not gonna charge them that much. Now after my first year, now I want my millions.
Okay.
After my first year, when I'm a star, I want about $18 million. But that's after I prove myself. So I mean, Phil, go ahead and call me up. I'm expecting that call tonight.
Well, I mean, if we're doing that, I might as well join the Knicks as well.
Let's go ahead.
I'll replace J.R. Smith. That he can go. Bye.
Yes. We're the Knicks are about to win the title next year. Again, that's what's about to happen. We're all about to get on it right now.
They're gonna sign C4 Sports.
Yes. And we have to do the radio coverage after the game, too. That's part of the deal.
I mean, I like this plan. I like any plan where I get to play in the NBA. Yes. I mean, that's okay. But I think that's what we got for NBA coverage. So thank you, AC Pro 9. Yeah, I think that's what Anthony has on his Twitter feed. He kind of started all that with that big 3 questions. So there props to you, Bubs. I got to give you that one. And now we go from one basketball to the other. The Final Four is this weekend. I got the games right here. I didn't really remember who was playing who specifically, but we got Florida, UConn, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. I think that Wisconsin-Kentucky game might actually end up being the best of the 2 games. Oh, yeah. That's kind of contrasting styles there. So first, we'll look back on our brackets. Ryan, I believe you hold all our brackets, and please, can we announce Darius's standings right now with the VCU national champion?
Here's the points. There's 2 people that cannot win. That is you, Matt, and Darius. Me and you are going to be tied, so I'm going to need your final score afterwards because that's going to be the only tiebreaker possible for this. But Darius, well, let's start at the beginning. Me and Adam both have 58. What helped him was having the Badgers in the Final Four because I did not because I had Arizona. So Arizona keep on winning was awesome to have because you guys didn't have confidence in them.
Yeah.
You're just 1 point behind. 57 points for you, Matt. Darius.
It's like golf. The lowest score wins.
46 points.
Ooh.
46. And you were basically done after the second day of competition. So.
Darius, care to explain yourself live on the air on 88.3?
I honestly don't think I can. So I'm just going to let him keep going. It's a tough time right now. I was going through some emotional things. Somebody stole my dog. Then I found out I never had a dog in the first place. So, I mean, that's just what I'm just going to stick to that story. No, nothing else for me to say.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Lost a little confidence in Shaka Smart and
I
Jabari
still
Parkey.
love Shaka. He just has players that aren't too smart. Jabari disappointed me. Him and Rodney Hood didn't do what I really expected them to do. Besides that, I mean, Michigan State, they had a nice run. So, I mean, Final Four-wise. I remember we talked about Ohio State and Dayton, and I was so close. I said I was almost going to pick Dayton, and I didn't do it. Aaron Craft.
I'm glad I just picked Dayton for one game.
Man, Aaron Craft, after 8 years in college, can't win one game. I mean, come on, man. And then UConn, I didn't even have them win the 8 game. Just over, I had them losing to St. Joe's. So, I mean, just.
Yeah, as a Michigan fan, that's what I get. I get karma for picking Ohio State in my Elite 8. I think I had them in the Elite 8 in this one. I know I did for my other brackets. But, I know I had them going at
Yeah,
least
Sweet 16.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's what I get. That's my karma for picking Ohio State to win a get to the Elite Eight or Sweet 16. I also have to say I did not think that was a foul in the Michigan State UConn game, which sent Napier, I believe, to the line, which ended up winning them the game essentially. But that's also what I get as a Michigan fan in picking Michigan State in the Final Four. That could have helped me in everything. I could have won basically everything I was entered in if Michigan State would have won that game. Yeah. So, Mark, if you're listening, I don't like your school right now. So.
I was shocked that Wiggins was absent. I got to see him both games. It shocked me against Stanford. Yeah, against Stanford in that second game.
Took 6 shots,
4 points.
I've said.
I think I could have made 4 points on that.
Since day one, I've said Wiggins is overhyped and even overrated.
But now he's number 1 pick now.
I don't understand.
To Chad Ford. Well, Embiid went down. Embiid had been number 1 for a while until his back injury. So,
if anything, I'm saying your boy Darius, Julius Randle might be number 1. That might be who I would take number 1 right now.
I still go Jabari 1, but Randle would be 2. Wiggins, I'm not even taking him 10.
No,
I don't like him. I never liked him. He hasn't done anything that he's athletic, but in the league, you playing a small forward, you're not really all that athletic.
In the NBA, everybody's athletic. The way I look at prospects, especially, is if you need to be athletic first of all, and then the skills can come from there. But if you're just going to go off pure athleticism, everybody in the NBA is athletic. These guys all have 30, 40-inch verticals. It'll get you by in college, but the NBA is a whole different animal.
So, Adam, Mr. Bucky Badger himself, you've probably been wearing red all
I have
week.
worn all Badger stuff this week, and I am not ashamed.
Have you worn them more than once without washing them?
Wow,
yes. Yes, I did. Okay. I've done laundry, yes.
You have done laundry?
I'm about to say, he said without washing.
Without?
Yeah.
That shows true fanism.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth.
I mean, we just gonna say, we in college. Ain't no shame in your game. We happy over here, okay?
We don't.
During the weekends, you ain't know. You sometimes it's just laying on your chair. You gotta put it back on. I mean, come on,
right.
I mean, it ain't like it's drawers or something. That's just dirty. If it's your drawers, then you need to wash yourself. But a hoodie, that's okay.
What are your chances that Bucky Badgers beat the one and dones?
See, I give them a decent chance because it's such conflicting styles. Wisconsin is going to ball control. They're going to take up most of the shot clock, and Kentucky wants to get up and down the court. I think without Willie Cauley-Stein for Kentucky, that's huge because he could come out to the three-point line, hedge on Kaminsky. Kaminsky's Wisconsin's go-to guy right now, and they're probably going to put Randall on him because he's a little more mobile, and he's a bruiser. He could wear down Kaminsky. I think for Wisconsin to win, they have to be disciplined. They have to kind of go back and rediscover themselves, go back to the old Wisconsin a little bit, in that they're going to need to take good shots, they're going to need to rebound, they're going to need to give the effort, and they're going to have to play good defense. They're going to have to keep Kentucky in front of them as best they can because they can't keep them in front of them for all 40 minutes. Kentucky's way too athletic. I think the big thing is you got to win the offensive rebound battle. You got to win the rebounding battle in general because Kentucky is just beat teams up on the offensive boards. Randall has been a beast. Dakari Johnson has come out of nowhere and become a beast on the boards. And with Cauley-Stein, he was a beast before that, blocking shots and such. So I think guard play is going to be another thing, keeping the Harrison twins in line. They did nothing. I was not impressed with them at all, and they've turned it on. So we'll see.
Yeah, they have turned it on.
I actually have Wisconsin winning, probably on a buzzer beater. Actually, with the way this tournament's gone, I think something crazy is going to happen. I think Wisconsin pulls it out. I think it's destiny. I think Bo Ryan absolutely deserves it. So I've got Wisconsin.
I have Wisconsin winning also, and I'll ask you guys about it. I just want. Did anybody get to watch the Badgers play Baylor?
Yes. No.
I think I watched a little bit of it, but I did not watch all of it.
That should be videotaped and handed out to high school players, other college teams, because that showed you how to pass the ball to get an open shot. It was a clinic because Baylor just did not know what was coming with them passing the ball at all. I was just watching in amazement. I'm like, I forgot how when they shot the ball because they were passing it 8, 10, 12 times, and they were just great passes, and Baylor would just get confused, leave somebody open, and it was just game over.
Well, I was sad to see Baylor go because they were wearing my favorite uniforms.
I knew that's where you was going with it. As soon as you said you were sad, I was like, oh, I know where you're going with this.
I mean, we don't have too many good-looking uniforms because the brighter the better. That's my motto. And I have gotten to many arguments with my father where it starts out with, if you look good, then you feel good. If you feel good, then you play good. So if you're in a highlighter outfit, it doesn't look any better than that. It really doesn't. I know you will agree with me, Darius. I know that you completely agree with that.
I don't agree at all, and that's all I'm going to say. I do not agree with that.
Because you're out there, and if the lights go off, then you can still see your teammates. How does it get any better than that?
That's the only reasoning we need. So what are your opinions on the...
seeing as neither of them wear neon, I will not be cheering for either of them. No. I got Kentucky winning this one. I want Wisconsin to win. Can't stand Kentucky. Can't stand Coach Cal. But I'm just going to wait for when he leaves for the NBA. This banner gets taken away. Let's see. I'll go Kentucky just because they're the hot team right now. They got too much talent, I think, and the talent is finally living up to its potential. They're finally playing well. They're playing very mature, making good decisions with their with the ball, which we have not seen until the tournament this year. And I do have to say for Kentucky, the Louisville win impressed me a lot. I think that was a solid win. But why I don't want to say they got lucky because it was not luck, but they got the benefit of good matchups. Me and Darius talked about this earlier. Kentucky with Michigan and Wichita State were two teams that did not match up with Kentucky at all, specifically the size. These are two more running gun teams and perimeter teams that lived and died by the three. You know, in their small guard play, the guards would get inside and eat you up from there and kick out to a three. And that's not the style that's going to beat Kentucky. It's really not. So I feel they deserve to be in the Final Four. They've played extremely well. They're the hottest team in the tournament right now. But I do think they have gotten the benefit of the doubt from their matchups. That sometimes that's what you need to win the big dance because this is the monster that is March Madness. But I do have to say they have gotten pretty favorable matchups to their skill set, which I think has helped them realize their potential, is because they've got these favorable matchups, and now they have the confidence going from beating a Wichita State and a Michigan and a Louisville. That was a solid win right there. But I think the Michigan and Louisville wins were definitely benefits of them having just complete matchup nightmares with those other two teams. I think Wisconsin matches up better with them, but I don't think they have the athleticism to contend with Kentucky. I hope Wisconsin wins. I'm going to be rooting for Wisconsin. Sleepy Floyd Kaminsky is my favorite player. He rolls out of bed and just drains threes because he doesn't even look like he's awake. But I hope Wisconsin win, but I'm going Kentucky for this first game.
Y'all know that one big problem I had in this tournament team-wise was Louisville. Couldn't stand them because of Russ Smith. Yeah. And Ryan, you called yourself being funny one time with Russ Smith on Twitter. But anyway, just because Kentucky beat them, I was like, you know what, Kentucky's cool with me. I never can stand Kentucky. Only player I've ever liked that played there, well, I like two of them. I like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist when he was there, and I like Boogie Cousins. That's the only two guys I ever liked from there. But I do like Coach Cal. So, Wisconsin, yeah, I saw them play the last game. Very good. I like how they play. When they play like that, I like when they're shooting the threes. Sometimes they play very slow, all that defense. That might be nice for your program, but that ain't nice for my eyes. So, I mean, that don't really mean nothing to me. Just because, as you said, Matt, Kentucky is on a roll. They have size, and that's a really big key. I think I'm going to go with them on this game, even though them two Harrison boys are real ugly. I mean, even though that really doesn't count in the score, but they kind of should lose like 10 points.
It hurts Darius's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're offending me and you're on television, like, you should lose points for that because this is a thing about, viewers, If this was just being broadcast on the radio or something, it wouldn't matter. But just, you know what? This is what they should do. They should each wear them LeBron black masks on their face, and so we don't have to see the face and they can just play. I feel like that's what they should do, and everybody would be fine. But Kentucky, the sides have been playing well. Poitras has come in the last two games and just been playing some real good ball. Dakari Johnson, like you said, you still got Julius Randle.
Dakari's shooting up draft boards now, mock drafts all over the place.
You still got Julius Randle, and then what's the guy, Malcolm Lee, that played last game?
Yeah, that was the only time
came out of nowhere. Yeah, and was just killing the offensive boards. So I think I'm going to go with Kentucky in this game. And the real reason I'm going with them is because I feel like they can beat the team who I don't want to see in the national title game. So that's why I'm really going with them, because I'm looking for matchups to take out them bums in Florida.
We know where you stand. Buzzer beater, you think, still?
I think so. As weird as this sounds, and me being a Wisconsin fan, I follow them pretty loyally, especially this year. Trey Jackson has become a pain in my side and my favorite player. It varies every game. It varies every minute, every quarter. I think he takes the big shot and makes it somehow. He did it at Michigan this year. And I think, as weird as it sounds, he's going to put them in the championship.
Okay. I have Wisconsin winning because I don't like Kentucky or Calipari, and you guys know that already. But even if I did like Kentucky, Kentucky is a run and gun, and I have a feeling that Bo Ryan's going like, we're going to slow them down to the point that they're going to fall asleep. They'll hold on to the ball for 30 seconds.
That would hurt Darius's eyes, though.
It would hurt Darius's eyes, but it's good to see defense once in a while, because it does not happen in the NBA until it comes time for playoffs. So gives you a little preview for the playoffs, I guess.
I mean, this is the thing. Kaminsky is a very good player, but
I think somebody else needs to score.
Yeah, they do.
Jackson needs to score.
Yeah, Jackson does, and Bruss needs to really have his shot going, because down low, I don't think Kaminsky is going to get too many post buckets. So, I mean, of course, when he's out on the three-point line, he'll be better there because bigs aren't used to going out there. But I really think it's on your guy, Adam. I think it's on Jackson, who, of course, is Jimmy Jackson's son. I think we all know Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
You know I did not know that was Jim Jackson.
Yep, Jim Jackson's son.
So, that surprises me. So, we have 2 Kentuckys and 2 Wisconsins for the first one.
Okay.
Let's get to the second one. And before that, I want to say probably the best quote I saw from Darius during the NCAA tournament was, I cannot believe that Shabazz Napier was not black.
He's just not black.
Yeah.
He's Puerto Rican. I didn't know that. I was surprised. Like, I didn't know until they showed his mom in the crowd. And I was like, okay, now, of course, I'm intrigued and I got to do my research. So I look it up, and it was like, oh, yeah, Shabazz Napier, Puerto Rican. I'm like, Puerto Rican? The man's name is Shabazz Napier. I just found it interesting.
Half Puerto Rican, half black?
I don't know. They didn't say anything about his dad, but
looking at him, he looks half white, half black.
He just looked black to me. I mean, the man's name was Shabazz. You know what I mean?
I had the same idea, but I didn't want to say anything. I was going like, when I saw him, I'm like, that's not Shabazz. Where's I thought the other guard was.
Boatwright.
Yeah, Boatwright. 6'3" kid.
And I'm like, they show his mom, and I'm getting so confused. I'm like, this lady is not of African American descent. I mean, it really don't matter, but I just be getting intrigued. I'm like, oh, I gotta look this up. So I'm going through Google images, looking at previous ones. Maybe they showed the wrong mom and everything, and I'm just looking. I have to go.
They show us the wrong.
Maybe sometimes they got confused on camera, and it just really shocked me. He's been in college 4 years, and I just now learned that. Maybe that's why he's. Well, I just want to say the reason he's playing well is because he wears number 13. Just know that.
Okay.
I just because that's my favorite number, so he know who's watching. Just like how left-hand players, seem to play well when you see them on TV, because they know who's watching. That's all that's about. Just wanted y'all to know that.
Thanks, Darius.
So, all right. So, who do you guys have winning? I'll start off. Since I have the Gators winning it all, I'm just gonna stick with the Gators. I just like to see what they've done. They've been on a run, even though they've been the number 1 overall seed. Mm-hmm. Manhandling Pitt, who just destroyed Colorado. A good game against UCLA. And then, they didn't have much of a matchup against Dayton. So hopefully this game's a little bit better for them, because I'd like to see them a little tougher before going into the championship game. But I think just the down-low, fast pace is going to hurt against Shabazz and Boatwright. And I cannot think of their tall player that they have down low who looks like a toothpick. I don't see him being able to muscle up against Young. Yeah, I don't see. I see Young just basically throwing him into the stands by as much muscle he has. So I have Gators. I'm going to say by 5 because those guards are great. I think their guards probably maybe almost are neck to neck with Gators guards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Florida, too. I'm going to say about a 10-point victory for Florida because UConn's success is their guards in Napier and Boatwright, and we were talking about this earlier, Darius. We both big fans of Boatwright because he's a 6'3" kid. He's from Aurora, which is right by both of us. He played at East Aurora. I got family goes to West Aurora, so I saw him play a lot in high school, so it's good to see him succeed, a fellow 6'3" kid. But UConn is completely and utterly dependent upon their guards, and Florida has been the most complete team all year. I think they will just do the march on to the national championship with very little resistance, I honestly see. And there's just really no team in the country that matches up with them at all. I think their biggest threat right now might be Kentucky because of the athleticism and size Kentucky has, but really I don't see UConn offering much of a chance. I think their guards have a good game because of how talented they are, and it's just that system seems to be built well for them. They are always able to find lanes into the paint, and that's where they thrive. But ultimately, I don't think Napier and Boatwright are going to go out and beat the most complete team and dominant team in the country. So I see a fairly easy victory for Florida, but it is the Final Four. This has been a crazy tournament, so I'll go 5 to 10-point victory, kind of what you were saying.
Here's the crazy thing. Florida has 2 losses on the season, two of the Final Four teams, Wisconsin early in the season, and UConn was their last loss on a Shabazz Napier game winner.
Yep.
The thing about Florida that makes them unique and a good matchup against the UConn is that they can slow it down or they can fast break or they can shoot the 3 or they can go inside. They're just complete, as you said, Matt. I think UConn outplays them in the guard facet. I think Frazier is a little too inconsistent for me. He disappears at times just based on he's kind of one-dimensional right now with the three-point shooting. But I think Scotty Wilbekin can disrupt Napier or Boatwright. Whichever he's placed on, he'll probably be placed on Napier since he's the primary guard. Otherwise, I just think Florida's got too much down low and too much depth. UConn's not very deep.
They have like a 6-man rotation, really.
Yeah.
UConn.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I think the more depth you have, especially in the tournament, you get a guy that has an off night, you can just plug someone in there. And Florida's got a lot of those guys. You get, I'm big on, he's kind of that glue guy that does everything for you. So I've got Florida relatively easy. I think maybe 12, 10. Florida's just too complete. UConn had a great run. Big shout out to Kevin Ollie. There were a lot of doubters that were actually calling for his job after he took over for Calhoun, and they struggled in the American Conference this year, but he's done a great job.
Shout out to Kevin Ollie for one reason only, because he played with AI. And in game 1 of the 0-1 finals, when AI dropped 48, he sat down for 1 minute, and you know who played that 1 minute for him? Kevin Ollie. So that's his claim to fame. I don't care nothing about this coaching. That's the best thing he's ever done in his life, was give AI a minute of rest. Anyway, now, I can't stand Florida. Don't like any other players because ain't none of them going to be good in the league, and that really bothers me. I don't like watching college players. I told Matt this earlier. When I know that you're not going to be good in the NBA, like your game just doesn't fit in the league, it really bothers me watching you in college because I feel like I'm wasting my time knowing who you are because you're disrespecting my knowledge. And not my eyes, but you're disrespecting my brain because my memory is going to remember your name. But I see them winning this game, and I don't really see it being too much of a challenge. UConn, Shabazz is carrying them, and it reminds me a little bit of what Kemba did a few years back when he carried them to the title. Boatwright, I thought he was going to be better in college than he was. Like, because high school, he was a great scorer. That's all I used to hear about, all we heard about. I think no matter what, he should come back next year because he's a junior. He should definitely come back next year, and with Shabazz being going, that can be maybe his team, and he, plays better. But Shabazz is doing a good job, but I think he's really the only real option they have in this tournament. So I think just Florida just being so complete. And as you said, I don't remember the guy in UConn's name either, but I've seen their big men. They are real skinny. Patrick Young is just way too big. So I feel like Florida's going to end up winning this game. It's probably not going to be too close. And sadly, they're going to move on to the title
I just think
game.
UConn's too reliant on their guards. Even their big men just seem to get rebounds, and then even if it's an offensive rebound, they don't look to score. 9 times out of 10, they kick it back out to Napier or Boatwright, and then they just set screen and get out of the way. and that's basically all they do. It's just the guards do everything for the team. And I don't think, one, you could win a championship regardless if that's your strategy, and two, you can't beat a fully complete team in the Florida Gators with just relying on 2 players. So if you don't have contributions from everybody.
Exactly.
All right, guys, it's time. Who will be cutting down the nets at AT&T Stadium, North Texas, this Monday night?
Why is it on Monday? I hate that.
I don't know.
Probably to compete with like the Monday Night Football.
Dumb.
What?
Dumb.
You know what's real dumb? Why
But it also helps out because you don't want to put.
Well, I understand you don't
Well,
want
you
want to
do a Friday. You want to do a Friday Sunday.
Not even Friday, Sunday. I'd rather do Thursday, Saturday. Thursday night is the Final Four.
I like the Monday, though. It makes it feel like prime time. You know, like prime time TV shows. I like it.
I don't want to stay up that late on a Monday. I'm an old man.
But it starts.
Well, okay, I do want to stay up that late, but I don't want to
veteran.
watch I don't want to watch my basketball on the Monday night. My national championship game. I want even a Sunday. I can do Super Bowl Sunday. Why not? Why don't we have national championship
It's
Sunday?
always been on Monday for a long
It
time.
has always been on Monday, and I've always been mad about it.
Yeah.
It should be on a weekend. It's a weekend event. It's a weekend event. If it was a series, it's one thing because it goes over the week, like the NBA, NHL, whatever. But if it's the Super Bowl, it's a big game. The Champions League final is always on a Saturday, and they're Europeans, and they do everything weird, but they got that right. And the Super Bowl is on Sunday, so the national championship game, since it's one game, should be on the weekend, so we can party, and I don't have to party on a Monday night.
Y'all remember the dude that won the Super Bowl MVP? What's his name? Malcolm Smith or something like
Yes.
that? And y'all remember how when he got interviewed in the press conference and the dude came up to the mic and said that September 11th was a thing by the government?
Yeah.
That's going to be Matt when they win, whoever wins the national championship. He's just going to run up to the thing. This game should now be played on a Sunday. And he's just going to leave and walk out. Security's not going to touch him or anything. He's going to be right back in school for a Tuesday. So, I mean,
Darius, you weren't.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to say that over the air and ruin my plan.
My fault. This has now been coded. I did
I
not
was
say
gonna
any of
get
these
Vine
words.
famous like that dude.
My fault. I didn't mean to mess up your plan.
It's okay, but I just thought I'd say that. Like I don't like it. I don't
But
like
speaking of things that are stupid, why are we calling it North Texas? I'm tired of everybody
I
saying
didn't get that.
We are in Dallas, okay, the home of my Cowboys.
North
Well, technically
Texas
we're
is
Arlington,
hosting
but-
it. North Texas University.
Oh, well, don't nobody care nothing about them. We at
But-
AT&T Stadium, the house that Jerry Jones stupidly built for everybody to come in and beat my team. So for one night, this going to be the Cowboys' night to shine, okay? I don't care nothing about these college teams. We're going to get some respect. Let's go, Dallas. That's why I got all my Dallas gear on now. In my mind, we're hosting the Super Bowl, and we're in it. There you go. And I guess I should just keep talking and pick who's going to win this game, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Darius.
Yeah. Hopefully, even though I told y'all I don't like them, but I like Coach Cal, I hope Kentucky can do it. Just because I can't stand Florida. They're on the roll right now, and in the tournament, being on the roll is a big thing. They have the size to compete with guys like Patrick Young. Patrick Young is big. Julius Randle is big. They have a lot. Their guards, they're dynamic in their games and in their ugly faces. So I mean, there you go. I hope somehow. I just feel like they can pull it out. If they getting this far as freshmen, I didn't expect them to get this far. But I think when you're this close, that's when the talent really matters. So I think Coach Cal is going to be able to win, what, 2 titles? There's going to be a second one in 3 years? Because they won 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think somehow, some way, surprisingly, Kentucky's going to, bring down cut the nets.
Okay, so I've got Florida, Wisconsin. I got the Florida one right. See, I was anticipating a different Big Ten team being there.
Yeah, which
Michigan
surprises
let
me.
me down. And I would not be tied with you if Michigan had,
Yeah.
pulled through. But, gosh, it would be so great as a Wisconsin fan. They've made Final Fours in the past. They haven't won since, 1941. I'm going to throw that out just for child's play. But I think Florida, I just think they're way too complete. They can speed Wisconsin up, maybe. And if Wisconsin wants to play at the pace that they want to and slow the clock down, Florida can play that game too. Florida's just all around better. But if Wisconsin wins, I'll make it to Madison somehow, and I'll be on State Street, and I'll probably watch the city of Madison burn to the ground. But it would be great. Wisconsin wins, but Florida wins. Billy Donovan gets another one.
I have Billy Donovan winning again. I have him winning it, but I will be cheering against him. That's just my nature. I like the underdog story, except for Kentucky standpoint. But I still think Wisconsin's an underdog to Kentucky anyway. When you have such big recruits, I think you should be up there. You're preseason number 1, so any person below that is underdogs except for Florida right now. But I have Florida winning, but I think it's going to be close. But Florida's way too complete. It seems like Florida wins championships when their teams are complete, and like I said, this team I think is better than the back-to-back championship teams.
Yeah.
They had before.
What? Better than Joakim, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, Torian Green, and whatever that number 12 white dude was that could shoot all the threes.
That was me.
That
was me.
Matt Langman.
Yeah. I'm just saying as college, as college athletes, I think they're better.
I would not say they're better, but what I was
that.
going off this, what I've told everybody is they remind me a lot of those teams. They're like those teams. I don't know if they're necessarily better because they don't have the star power, but they remind me a lot of those 06, 07 Florida Gator teams, a lot. And for me, I have Florida winning. Obviously, I picked them from the start. I've been riding them the whole time. They have looked pretty much unchallenged the whole time, and I don't see anybody really giving them a challenge other than Kentucky. I think Kentucky might be able to upset them. I think Florida wins 7 of the 10 games. And with that, percentage-wise, I'd take Florida over Kentucky because Kentucky's talent and size can really trouble the Gators, and they match up the best with them of all the Final Four teams and most of the teams in the tournament as well with the way they've played. But I think I'm going opposite what Darius said. Talent gets you there, but I think seniority and experience wins it. That's why we see the one-and-done struggle. We've only seen one true one-and-done team win it with that Kentucky team from a few years ago.
Yeah,
but I think when you have a team...
I wouldn't even call that a one-and-done.
Yeah, well, they were led by Anthony Davis, who was a one-and-done. That's why I say that.
Yeah, but you had... Who was the guy that came back for his junior year?
I don't know. Most of their guys.
He was a bigger guy. Jones.
Oh, Jones?
No, he was a sophomore.
I thought he was a sophomore.
He was a sophomore.
But he came back.
He came back. He was a sophomore that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then they had one other
dude,
Darius Miller,
Miller,
who was a junior or a senior, something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I think when it comes down to it, 5 freshmen I don't think aren't going to do it. And plus, Florida is just as talented as them, and they're all seniors, and they all have experience. They've done it all year. And I just don't see anybody truly being able to match up with them, whether it's talent, size, skill, whatever it is. I think Florida's just too good, too complete, and they win. I think it's a close game. It's a 3-point win over Kentucky in the title game. But ultimately, I think that's what does it for them is their seniority and experience. And how about this? This is something I think we can end on because we got about 10 minutes. Something I've been waiting all week to ask you guys, something I just realized. Billy Donovan might be, for me, the most underrated coach in college basketball. I think he's got what, the 2 national championships, 3 or 4 trips to the Final Four, and yet we hear stuff. I know you'll like this, Darius, is the Jim Boeheim and at Syracuse. He's considered a great Hall of Fame coach, but he's got, 1 national championship, and how many? He's got like the only
over
2
900 wins.
Yeah,
He only has like 3 or 4.
But he's only got 3
Final
or
Fours,
4
something like
Final Four. I think he's got 3 Final Four appearances and 1 national championship to Billy Donovan's 2 titles and I think 3 or 4 Final Four appearances. Maybe he's not at his level because of the wins and the prestige, everything he's done over his career, but I do think he deserves to be mentioned with the Izzo. With maybe not, I think the only ones he doesn't really get mentioned with is maybe like a Coach K, and we're talking about some of the legends like a Dean Smith, even a Roy Williams. I think Roy Williams is up there because of his recent successes at North Carolina. Maybe not those 2, but I think Calipari, he's just as good as him. Boeheim, maybe even Jim Calhoun, maybe he's right there with him. Tom Izzo, all these guys. I don't see why Billy Donovan's not right there, especially if we're going to look from 2000 to now, this modern millennium. Why is Billy Donovan not mentioned with them when he has better credentials than most of them, specifically when we're talking about what really matters for a coach, Final Fours and national championships?
He is very overrated. I've thought that for a while.
Really?
You say he's overrated?
Oh, did I say overrated?
Yeah, you said overrated.
No.
That's why I was
sorry.
like, really?
Underrated. I'm sorry. I was wondering why I got that shocked.
Yeah.
That shocked. I'm sorry. He's underrated. I mean, if you're talking about championships,
he's the only one to win back-to-back since I think the 90s Dukes. I think.
Yeah. He has, in the modern era, he has more than Coach K.
Yeah.
Has better success than Coach K in the NCAA tournament recently. Yeah, he's very underrated.
For me, he's the most underrated.
I think he likes that.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes that pressure coming down on him from media and that stuff. He's kind of like Popovich.
Mm-hmm.
He'd rather just go say, yeah, go talk to Calipari. Go talk to them. Go talk to.
I think he's your type of coach, Ryan.
Yeah, go talk to. I like Donovan. He's young, he's energized, but he doesn't have that like cocky like my team needs foul calls, please. He's not one of those coaches that are going like this is not fair, like Calipari has done.
I definitely agree. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. It's crazy to see all of the accomplishments he's done, and he still doesn't get much hype. You mentioned Popovich. It's kind of like that. I think you can even see it. You could see the success coming almost if you look back. He was a player for Providence, great player, under Rick Pitino. He's a Pitino disciple, and Pitino's...
Yeah, Pitino mentioned that when they won that first round game.
Pitino's got this big, giant tree that he's gone off of with all the assistants. He's got the Manhattan coach now that played for him, and Donovan, of course. So, definitely underrated. You could look kind of in the Big Ten a little bit. I think John Beilein is giantly underrated.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
If Kentucky doesn't beat them, he goes back to the Final Four without Mitch McGary, who was a preseason All-American. The coaching job he did this season was Coach of the Year material. He won't get it, but
I think he should. I personally think he should, because as a Michigan fan, I didn't expect much from them this year. I was really worried losing Trey Burke and Tim Hardaway Jr., and they win the Big Ten. They are really a rebound. If they could have got a rebound, they didn't even need a stop because they were scoring fine. If they could have got a rebound, a defensive rebound, I think they would have made it back to the Final Four.
Yeah, but Donovan definitely one of the overrated. I did it.
Over and under, so close.
Underrated coaches in the country, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe the NBA comes after him. Orlando's right there, right in his neighborhood.
So they tried that before, right?
Yeah, they tried it, and
I wouldn't go. I would not.
He accepted the contract for one whole day, and then backed out of the contract and went back to Florida.
He's like, "Wait, what did I just do?" Yeah. Okay.
No, he's got a great program at Florida. There's no reason for him to stay. There's no reason for Florida to decline. You can expect Florida in the spotlight.
Yeah, I'll agree with y'all that he's a very underrated coach. I think that the part of the reason, though, is that when we listed all those great coaches, talking about Boeheim, Coach K, all these guys, the only difference between them and Donovan is that Donovan is at a football school.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the big thing that makes him seem, underrated. But you definitely can't go against winning. When you got 2 titles, basically competing for a third, I mean, that's a great accomplishment. So I'll agree he is underrated.
So yeah, I'm really happy that we got that in, because I've been meaning to ask that to you guys. I realized when they qualified for the Final Four, I was like, wait, because he made it like 2000 when Michigan State, that's who Michigan State is.
Elite 8
yeah, they've had 4 or 5 straight Elite 8s.
And just couldn't make it to the Final Four.
Which is nothing to scoff at. Normally you look at the Final Four gets you a banner, Elite 8 doesn't, but still, that's deep turnaround, something Coach K hasn't been able to do with all his first and second round losses recently. But I've been meaning to ask that for you guys. We had a very good show. So we got, all Florida and 1 Kentucky again?
Yeah, there we go.
Remember we had all Florida and 1 VCU?
I had Duke.
Oh,
I had Duke.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Duke over VCU, right?
No, I had Duke over Michigan.
So the favors with us, because our teams are still lasting.
No, we even, because I won the Super Bowl one.
So
we even right now.
All right, well, I believe as it stands right now, I think we have a show, but the baseball, softball games have been being pushed around and stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
So, as it stands right now, C4 Sports will be live next Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. So, my name is Matt. That is at LManMatt93.
I'm Ryan Mason, at Mason_IL Chief.
I'm Adam Feiner, at Nobody Feiner. Go Wisconsin.
And I am Darius Hawkins at _Hawk_13.
So once again, thank you, Bubs, Caldrone, for your tweet. That gave us good discussion. On behalf of everybody here, C4 Sports is done for the week. You got Urban Music next, right here on 88.3, The Dog.
Boom.